I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. I naively thought that putting a video up once a week, researching, editing, filming, all of that could just be done pretty easily. And I didn't think it would be easy. Actually, let me backtrack. I didn't think it would be easy, but I didn't realize exactly what I was getting into. And between my relationship, my friends, my job, trying to balance everything and still keep on top of this is getting kind of difficult. You know, it's like a never ending Russian doll. And the more I find out, the more I realize just how much there is to learn. And I know I said that in like a couple other videos, but no amount of beer or nicotine or free time that I throw at this, I am constantly just getting, one of these videos out. And I know I'm only 3 in. I've been at this for about a month and a half, and I'm pretty eager to actually get to doing the show, coming up with ideas and all that stuff. And this is a slow and steady process that's kind of new for me. So this has been a learning curve in terms of like discipline, of actually staying regimented and just learning about how TV and how web series and how editing and X, Y, and Z, how all of that works. So it's been super informative, but I would be a liar to tell you trying to balance all of this and also still do this to even get to the point of actually even making a show. It has been quite nerve wracking, but I'm going to still keep pushing through. I'm going to see if I can keep pace with this once a week thing, and hopefully after the holidays, tomorrow's the 4th of July, and then a couple weeks ago, that was Juneteenth, so there's always seems to be like a new thing. So I'm hoping as everything kind of subsides, I'll be able to actually start to spend a lot more time doing this. All that aside, I know last week I had sat down and talked with TV producer Everett Robinson, who gave me a lot of insight into how television works, and along with some other helpful advice and tips. So, and I know when I left that video, I was saying, I really want to dig into branding and maybe getting a photo shoot going and maybe getting like a graphic going and a logo and all of that. But I'm going to be totally honest with you. I have not had a chance to get to any of that. I've just had a ridiculous work week, but that's not why we're here. What I did manage to get into that I could fit into a small enough period of time is learning A roll and B roll. So I've used some of it already in the beginning, as you've seen, and some of it as I've been talking. Now, I'm sure all of you are familiar with what A roll is and what B roll is, but for those of you who don't know, your A roll is essentially the main footage that drives your story. Interviews, me talking right now, that would be considered A roll. Even if there's not talking, just cinematic shots that drive the story home and really progress the narrative. So that's your A roll. And your B roll is anything else, your supplementary footage that you can cut to that still complements what's being said or talked about or what the scene is even about. But it's not as, I don't want to say it's not as important, but it is used to cut away and break up your A-roll footage. It adds a little more variety to what the viewer is looking at. So I'm trying to incorporate some of that into this video and hopefully some other videos and start adding that in there. A little fun fact, A-roll and B-roll come from the old days of television in Hollywood, and they would use literal A-roll and B-roll, and they would use B-roll to hide where they would physically have to cut the film. And usually it was with, if I'm not mistaken, it was a 16 millimeter because the splices showed a lot more clearly when they wanted to go to like another scene or if they wanted to make an edit. So by adding in footage of the sky or people walking or any of that kind of thing, it allowed them to more easily hide it in 16 millimeter film. Whereas with 35 millimeter film, it was wide enough to where you could hide it a little more easily. There is a little more about A-roll and B-roll that I'm not going to get into today. I just wanted to kind of at least get something up that kind of shows some new things that I've learned and trying to implement. And hopefully next week I can actually get into coming up with like a logo and maybe like some branding and that sort of thing. But this week's gonna be pretty light. I just wanted to at least check in, touch base, kind of give an update. Hopefully I can shake this all off, get my groove back. But, for now, the only thing I got for y'all is just learning a little bit about A-roll and B-roll and trying to put that in there. And I should have a little more free time next week to actually dive into, maybe another interview. Could be. And really digging into the logo design, because I'm a visual artist, so I can draw my own logo and design and rock with that. I think that'll be the next thing that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take what I said last week to do this week, and I'm gonna push that forward to this upcoming week to work on. So with that said, thank you all for tuning in. I can't believe this is the 4th episode. That's pretty crazy. But thank you for following along, and with some time, we will have a TV show.